Good day. Organic chemistry is a large unit that we finish with. Last year you got the tiniest taste of it. You learned a little bit about isomers, you learned about alkanes and ethers and alcohols, just very briefly. For us, organic chemistry is going to be a lot like learning a language, except it's easier. Now what typically happens is some people shut down early and get slaughtered in this section. Whereas other people work all the way through and find this section to be very straightforward and dominate the test. So make sure you're in that latter category. When we think about organic chemistry, historically, chemistry was divided into organic and inorganic. Organic coming from the word organism. It was thought that organic or living things had a special life force in their chemicals. And that made them different from things that weren't alive, that were chemical. And everything around us that you can touch and feel and has mass and volume is going to be a chemical. But over time, it was figured out that actually we could make organic compounds in the lab synthetically. We didn't need a living thing to produce it. But the old names of organic and inorganic are still used today. So for our purposes, organic chemistry is carbon chemistry. And we got to remember, carbon's special. It can bond to other carbon atoms. It can bond to other elements as well. It can form single, double, triple bonds. It can make rolls and sheets and spheres and all kinds of interesting shapes. So it's a fascinating thing. We're going to learn about the difference between saturated and unsaturated organic compounds. We're going to start out, and I think you may find this difficult at the start, but we're going to learn about alkanes, alkenes, alkynes, cycloalkanes, cyclo just means it's a ring, and something called aromatics. But once you get the rhythm for how we name compounds and how we draw their structures, then we're going to extend it. We're going to look at these functional groups. We're going to look at alcohols, ethers, aldehydes, all the way down to amines. We may talk about amides, and a lot of these things are going to be important if you take Biology 12. Last year you learned about structural isomers, and this year you'll learn about them again in more detail, and you'll learn about geometric isomers. Then we're going to go into the wacky world of chemical reactions. You might remember in Science 10 you classified reactions, and hey, last year you had combustion, this year we have combustion. But we have some different types. We don't see single replacement, double replacement here. We see things like substitution, addition, esterification. We'll show you oxidation, we're not going to worry about it. And then we look at a weird type of replacement reaction. And we'll look at polymers, and then anything I didn't list cleverly is called miscellaneous or miscellaneous if you're hooked on phonics.